want you to get pen and paper and write down everything you want to achieve in the next 4 years, the children you want to have, the car you want to drive, the money you want to make. I guarantee you every single thing you write down on that piece of paper is going to come true.
One of the questions I get from a lot of people is like, how, like I have I have a nephew, I have a brother, I have a father who's matrix minded. How do I save these people? What would you say? How do we save them?
Well, the easiest way is by example. The easiest way is just to win so ruthlessly that they are forced to accept the brutal reality of their inferiority. The easiest way to do it. And often, especially if they're an older brother or a father or someone who has authority over you, the only way to do it is to just surpass them and say, listen, you didn't believe a year ago. You may not believe now. Let's talk in a year. Do you believe yet? Do you believe yet? The day they need to borrow money, they'll believe. And that's how it works. So often, because it's amazing how people block their mind out to other ideas, because it's very important for people at home to understand that. I said this many times before, that there's only 3 reasons why you're not rich, and I stick by this. Anybody on the planet can be rich, and if you're not rich, there's one of 3 reasons. You're either lazy, you're arrogant, or you're stupid. Now, most people think it's stupid. Most people go, everyone's stupid. I would argue that only 5% of people are too stupid to get rich. There's a whole lot of stupid people with money.
Yes.
You don't have to be smart to make money. You can have a mid-wit IQ, you can have a low IQ. If you can follow instructions, you can make money. Stupid is very rare. People are not stupid. They're one of 2 things. They're either lazy or they're arrogant. So if I had a Ferrari and a map and it led all the way to the end of a rainbow with gold and a leprechaun, and I gave 3 people the Ferrari, well, the stupid one wouldn't know how to drive, right? The stupid one would be like, I can't drive this car, I don't know how. But that's rare. What you actually have is lazy and arrogant. The other guy, the lazy guy, would say, it's so far. Why is it so far away? And I'd say, look, I built you a Ferrari. It doesn't get easier than this. It's the best it's ever going to be. There's no other better vehicle on the planet. We have no competition, and we guarantee you gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah, but it's a long drive. Well, then do you want it or not? Well, I want the gold. I just want it now. Well, you can't have it now, but you can have it in a few weeks if you start driving now. And if you can't have it now, the best time to start is now, so you have it as soon as possible. Oh, it's far. So you have lazy people, and then you have arrogant people. And I would actually say 5% of people are too stupid. Only 15% of people are too lazy. If you tell the average person, do this, you make money. I'm telling you now, if I had a handle that you could turn and money came out, and you put someone there, most people would just stand there all day and go, fuck it. All day. Just staring at the wall all day. Money, money, all day. They're not too stupid to use the handle, and they're not too lazy to turn it. Most people, 80% of people who aren't rich are arrogant. 80% of people, when you try and tell them what to do, they don't want to listen. When you say, here's a Ferrari, here's the map, the gold's at the end, you know I'm not lying because I have lots of gold, and I have lots of Ferraris, and I'm rich, and you listen to me because you know who I am, so here, go. Yeah, I don't like that route. I don't want a red Ferrari.
Yeah.
You're a nobody. Drive. No, I don't want a red Ferrari. I've always wanted a yellow one. And why are you taking the I-95? Don't like that road. Nah, not for me. I'll work it out myself. And they walk off into the forest.
It's true. It's true.
And they stay poor forever. And I'm standing there with my gold, my map, and my Rari, like, what the fuck? What are you doing? We talk about arrogance and laziness and reason people aren't rich. If they accept what you're saying is true, then action is required. Which is why a lot of people pretend things, simply to try and mask. They're deeply offended by the idea of having to do work. But they're sitting there saying, I don't want to act, so I'll pretend that's not true. And that's not just with money, that's political also. I don't want to have to sit there and do those calls to make money, so I'll pretend that I wouldn't make money if I did it. That is the bottom line of most people's mindset. It's a degree of cowardice. It's a form of cowardice.
Yes.
Luke and I grew up poor, and now we're rich. And he says to me, poor people are poor for a reason. And I'm like, I know. Right. He goes, because when I try and talk to poor people, they reply arrogantly like they know things. They won't take the Ferrari. They won't take the map. They tell me that they know better and they're going to do it their way, and that their friend has this idea and that they want to go do this. And they all just stay poor forever. These idiots are too arrogant and get rich. Guys, if you're not arrogant and you're not lazy and you're not stupid, all you have to do is follow instructions. You don't even have to fucking think.
Yeah.
They said do this, I will do this. They said be here for this call, I will be there for this call. They said do this quiz, I'll do this quiz. They said watch this video, I'll watch this video. If you just listen, you'll win. I became a kickboxing world champion by listening. I didn't think. Amir said do this, yes sir. Do it that way, yes sir. Stop doing this, do that, yes sir. Yes, I made my way to the very, very top with one word, yes. And you have all these brokies and arrogant people who've achieved nothing, who have all these words to say. And I'm like, where the fuck did you get these words from? Why are you talking? You have no authority here.
Why did you listen to Amir, though?
Well, that's actually a very good question. And the reason I listened to Amir is because my first ever day in Storm, when I went there, it wasn't a commercial fighting gym. It was just 8 Bosnian guys. And I turned up, and he said, can you fight? And I was like 18. I'm like, yeah. And I got knocked out cold. And when I woke up, I thought, okay, I can't fight like I thought. And I guess he expected to never see me again. But there I was the next day, walking in with my bag going, let's go again, round 2, because that's who I am. And I believed in him because he proved his competence. There is a lot of excuses for laziness. There's a lot of them. And what people will often do, I see this a lot, is people come to me and they pretend to be confused about things to try and justify their inaction. So I'll say, jump on one leg and spin in a circle and you'll begin to make money. And instead of jumping on one leg and spinning in a circle, they'll sit and say, but, okay, which leg? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Okay, and what shoes do I wear? It doesn't matter. Okay, and what clothes do I wear? It doesn't matter. Okay, and can I use a trampoline? No. Okay, and how long do I jump for? You are just trying to pretend you're learning to stop yourself from needing to jump. That's what you're doing. I told you what to do. Go do it. If it doesn't work, come back to me and we'll talk. And we'll analyze what you may have done right or wrong. But the fact that I told you to do something and now you don't want to admit you're too lazy to do it. So instead you're pretending. So you say, I can take you from $0 a month to $10,000 a month in a few short weeks. They will then hide their laziness. They'll obscure their laziness behind, I don't want $10,000 a month. I want $1 million. They'll hide it behind their false ambition. Well, if you want $1 million, 10,000's closer than 0, dipshit. So go. They're not ambitious. They're trying to hide their laziness behind ambition. And it happens all the time, especially with trying to hide their laziness behind this quest for knowledge. When someone says to me, hey, should I buy crypto? My answer is, if you want. I don't answer, if you want. I'm like, well, do you have some? Yeah. So should I buy it? I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you want. Like, I'm not being responsible for your decisions. Because if it goes up, I don't get any money. And if it goes down, you cry at me. I don't see what the point of this is. Fuck off. So anyway, he goes, should I buy Bitcoin? I said, if you want. He goes, well, I'm undecided. I was like, all right, well, what you should do is make a bunch of money, go work harder, do extra hours in your peasant job so that you have some money you could afford to lose in a worst case scenario. And then you can buy some Bitcoin and still pay your rent. And then it's win-win. If it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it doesn't matter. Your rent's still paid. Anyway, I saw him a few weeks later. He's like, I've been really reading about that Bitcoin. I've been looking into Bitcoin and the treasury and all this shit. The blockchain. Yeah. He's telling me more about Bitcoin than I know. I've got 1,000 Bitcoin. I don't even know this. I'm like, bro, you spent all those weeks reading instead of working to try and pretend you were getting closer to your goal of owning Bitcoin. You still have no Bitcoin because you still have no money. It doesn't matter what you read. You don't know. I don't know what you know, and I have all the Bitcoin, and I don't know what you know. I know enough to know it's a good investment. I'm not sitting there measuring the hash rate like a dickhead. You are, and you have 0.1 Bitcoin. You should have gone to work and just bought some. So he is trying to pretend he's educating himself, but he's not, really, truthfully. He's just trying to hide his laziness and obscure laziness behind this thirst and quest for knowledge. Yeah. And it's amazing how the world actually kind of works that way. The amount of investments I've made, and I've made so much money on, not because I researched, just because I had money at the time. I bought like Dubai real estate, and all the people around me were like, it's going to go down, there's going to be a crash, all this shit. And I was like, but the money's just sitting in my bank and I don't care. Let it go down. It'll go up again. I'll sell it later. And I bought at literally the perfect time. Then the Ukraine war happened and it all doubled overnight when no one else was buying because they were researching. I was just getting so rich that I didn't give a fuck. I bought Bitcoin not caring if it goes to 0. Yeah. Like income is everything. And the amount of people who try and hide behind this thirst for knowledge is truly incredible. Shut up. We said jump on one leg. Jump on one leg. Start jumping. You can talk about your footwear afterwards. You can complain later. I want you jumping on one leg. That's how you win. You win through action. The universe is actually a very giving place. And if you're God or the universe or karma or whatever you want to call it, you have all these blessings to give out. This is very important. And if you give blessings to everybody, then you give blessings to nobody. Because there's no light without dark. If everybody's a millionaire, then being a millionaire doesn't mean anything. You can't buy anything. So there has to be people who win and people who lose. And karma is sitting there with this huge pot of blessings, and it's going through the cosmic ether looking for people. Who can I give some of these blessings to? It's walking around going, oh, a big pot of blessings, who deserves it? And it's just looking for someone who gives a shit and tries. Who's going to jump on one leg? Oh, he's jumping on one leg, here's some blessings. Oh, he's jumping on one leg, here's some blessings. You might be surprised. If you jump on one leg, you might be surprised that bitch might text you back, finally. You'd be surprised what happens when you actually try. It's amazing. It doesn't make sense. You can't put the two together, but for some reason you just start winning. You just start winning in poker and winning in dice and winning women, and you just start winning in life. You're like, well, how am I winning in life all of a sudden? That's how the world works. And as they're walking around with this big pot of blessings, they see all these people who go, I want blessings, but they're just sitting on their ass, refusing to do anything. And the universe is not going to give them to you that way, because if it gave lazy people blessings, then nobody would be blessed, because everybody would be blessed, and there's no light without dark. If I could tell you words that would make you beat me in a fight, training would be pointless. I'm going to beat you because I've trained thousands of hours that you haven't trained, and I'm stronger than you, and I'm faster than you, and I know things you don't know. All you can do is get your ass kicked by me until one day you don't get your ass kicked. All you can do is jump on one leg. Just work. It's going to be hard, but you'll get to the end. If you're going to sit here and feign the quest for knowledge to try and obscure your laziness, you're just going to continuously get battered and destroyed forever. What you have to do is turn up and get your ass kicked until I can't kick your ass anymore. That's the bottom line. That's the only way to get anywhere in life. It's so important. And you know what's amazing to me is how many people can't sell anything ever. And they don't realize that sales is life. Life is sales. That's what people don't understand. Let's say I'm going to make this up off the top of my head. You're a mechanic. Somebody comes into your mechanic shop with a car, and the car is broken. And you know how to fix it. It's one screw. And they say, can you fix it? And you say, yeah, it's a screw. I'll fix it. That's one answer. Or you can say, yeah, I know what it is. I've seen this before. I'm pretty sure I can fix it quickly for you. We're totally full, but I'm going to try and fix it now just so you don't have to wait. Now when you fix it quickly, they're like, this mechanic is you need to go to my guy. He's the best. He fixed it so quickly. He knew exactly what it was. He put me ahead of the line. If you say that as opposed to going, yeah, I can fix it, you now have a customer for life. That is sales. Yep. Sales isn't making people buy things all the time. Sales is selling your service, selling yourself, selling people, believing in you. It's amazing to me how people go through life and don't talk this way. That's the only way I talk. If I talk to by the end of it, she's in love. I don't even mean to. That's just how I talk.
It's an accident.
It's an accident. Everything's a sell.
Yes.
But people don't even possess this basic skill. And then they wonder why they can't get a girlfriend and get any money. It's truly incredible. And everything in life is sales, which is wise because we're moving away from the era of it's what you do as opposed to it's who you are. Like lots of people can sit and talk on a microphone, but when we do it, it matters. When most people do it, it doesn't. It's not what you do anymore, it's who's doing it. And I often say to people, you know, it's not that difficult to see the future if you actually sit and use your brain for a fraction of a second. Because someone said to me, Andrew, you're one of the richest people in the world. And I said, no, I'm not. He said, no, it's not about money. It's the fact that you're making your money actually helping people. You guys are actually helping people. And that has karmic retributions you're going to enjoy for the rest of your human years. Money's great, but you have enough money. There's nothing else to buy. The fact that you're out there in the world helping so many people, that's what makes you rich. It's amazing that if you were to join and dedicate yourself for 1 month, you say, you know what, for 1 month, I won't be a jackass. 1 month.
Come on.
1 month, I won't be a jackass. By the end of that month, you'll understand the world in a different way. You'll have money you never would have had before. You'll have a completely different mindset towards online money. It takes 1 month of your life. Think of what you were doing a month ago. Think of what you've done this last month. What have you done? How much time have you wasted? If I were to say to you, what have you done? You couldn't tell me. And that's what's important. It's extremely important you understand that the universe works the same. It's not going to give it to lazy idiots. It's going to give it to people who actually try and actually work. And the crazy thing is, the action is for themselves, to make this, to help themselves. They still won't do it. Some people, and this is what Luke says, deserve to be poor and are born to fools. Poor people are often poor because they were given 1,000 chances and didn't do anything. You listening right now can take action and get rich. Your life will change forever. You can do it right now. And if you don't do it, well, then don't complain you're poor. There's a version of you that never sleeps in, never skips training, never wastes time. There's a version of you who never fails. It is waiting for you. Genuinely ask yourself a question, you at home. If you had done those things for the last 2 years, you never skipped a training, you never wasted time, you never scrolled TikTok, you never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time. You never skipped training. You were training every single day. You never slept in. You were never lazy. There's this version of you. Imagine the person you would be. Genuinely imagine what you would look like. Imagine where you would live. Imagine the car you would drive. Imagine how much your woman would respect you. Imagine the love you would see in her eyes when she looks at you with adoration like a king. Imagine your existence. That person is waiting for you. And the only thing that's stopping you from being that person is your monumental laziness. You can have it. The universe is very giving. It will give you anything you work for. I've never seen somebody try for something with all of their might and not get it. The only people who do not have the things they want are the people who do not try for them. I've never seen a person wake up and say, my only dedication in life is to solve a Rubik's Cube and fail. You are not stupid. You are not incompetent. You are lazy and arrogant. It's extremely important you understand that that person is waiting for you and you are declining that version of yourself. In the multiverse, in the many different versions of the universe that exist, there is a version of you that does those exact things. And he is a greater person than you can even fathom. You can transform yourself into that guy. You can be a top G. That's exactly what I did. I knew who I was going to have to end up being before I became that person. My brother and I are not from rich families. We are not from advantaged beginnings. But I knew I had to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. That's what I knew I had to be. Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness? If you cannot force yourself to train when you do not want to train, if you cannot force yourself to work when you don't want to work, if you can't force yourself to not log into Pornhub or force yourself to eat right, how can you possibly ever become a monumentally successful person if you cannot control yourself long enough to do what must be done as opposed to what you feel like doing? The only people who get to live their lives based on how they feel are women and children. Children can cry because they feel like crying, as can a woman. A woman can start an argument because she feels like arguing, as can a child. A man must do what he is supposed to do irregardless of how he feels. That is the key component to masculinity, is discipline. If you do not have the discipline to dedicate yourself to anything, you are going to fail and be crushed by the people who can. If you only go to the gym when you feel like going to the gym, you're never going to be as strong as the people who go to the gym when they don't feel like going to the gym. That is a reality of life. So, I train every single day. I've actually heard from some people saying, you overtrain. And I explained to them, one, I don't believe in rest. I'm not you. I'm not pussy and I'm not broke like you are, Mr. Fitness Trainer, standing around the gym teaching people for $50 an hour. I don't need to listen to you. Secondly, I don't train because I want to get bigger. I train every day because it is difficult to train every day. It hurts. I don't want to. I wake up and I'm busy. I have other things to do. I don't feel like doing it. So I force myself to do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so that I know I'm the kind of person who can do what he doesn't want to do when it needs to be done. I am that man. And it's more of a mental exercise than a physical exercise at this point. How can you ever outcompete me if I can force myself to do the things I don't want to do and you cannot? Discipline is absolutely essential for success, and you need to get very comfortable and very used to the idea of understanding that on your path to greatness, there are going to be long periods of time where you hate what you are doing, where you are dissatisfied with the actions you must undertake, where you are tired, where you are stressed. That is why it is difficult. That is why most people won't make it. If the path was easy, everybody would walk it and it would lead nowhere. 100 people start the path, 99 fall off because it is difficult, and the one person who makes it to the end gets the gold. If all 100 made it to the end and the gold was divided by 100, it wouldn't even be worth anything. The difficulty gives it value. The fact that it is difficult to do is the key component into the fact you want it in the first place. If it wasn't difficult, everyone would have it and you wouldn't want it because no one would respect it. It's supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be hard. hard. You're supposed to think this is terrible. You're supposed to suffer and smile through the pain regardless. Discipline is the key to success in all realms as a man. And if you lack it, you stand no chance. You can give most people a roadmap to success. You can give them a Ferrari with a full tank of gas, and a lot of people still wouldn't make the destination because they would say the drive is too far away. Quitters, they don't have the discipline. You can tell them exactly how to do it. You can give them the mechanism to get there, but they don't have the discipline to complete the drive and end up at the destination. That is the majority of Earth. This is your competition. People who, even if they are told what to do and people tell them exactly how to do it and help them do it, still quit, still fail because they lack discipline. Even me, with my monumental powers, I can't make a quitter successful. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter how easily I make it for them to succeed. It doesn't matter how compendious and concise and powerful the real world is. It doesn't matter how much I text them and motivate them, how many emergency meetings I do to try and talk to them and hype them up, how much motivation I give them. It doesn't matter what I do. If they are a quitter, guess what they're going to do? They're going to quit. No matter how simple the map is to read, no matter how fast the Ferrari is, somewhere along the drive, the sun's going to get in their eyes, and they're going to sit there and go, I don't like this, this is hard, and they're going to quit. Quitters are the number one type of people that nobody can help. If you're a quitter, I can't help you, life can't help you, God himself cannot help a quitter. So if you lack discipline, you lack the very basic building block to any type of success which exists on the planet. By every single metric which can be measured with science, you are going to stay a loser and a failure. The key is to keep training. If you train hard every single day, you don't have to worry about a little bit of vitamin C.
It's true.
If you don't train and you don't smoke, you're still going to be a pussy.
Yes.
The answer is always hard work. As soon as you are granted life, you are guaranteed death. What you do in between is up to you. You are all conscious. That could end tomorrow, that could end in 100 years. But the time between the beginning of your consciousness and the end of it is completely up to you. Training is never the wrong decision. If you're in jail, you should train. If you are free, you should train. If you are rich, you should train. If you are poor, you should train. If you smoke, you should train. If you don't smoke, you should train. If you drink, you should train. If you don't drink, you should train. You cannot escape that hard work is always the correct decision. There is no time in any scenario when working hard is going to be the wrong answer. You should always try your very best in all things. I will smoke 10 cigars a day and beat the shit out of you because I train harder than you can possibly fathom. Pain is an extremely important part of the equation. Pain is the elixir of success. When people say this bad thing happened to me and I'm suffering, I say good. It is pain which is required. It's one of the elements in the chemical reaction. If a chemical reaction requires 5 particular distinct compounds and you have 4 and you're missing 1, it simply doesn't work. Pain for a man is one of the most important elements in becoming successful. Batman is Batman because they killed his parents. If they did not kill his parents, he would not be Batman. You're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to take that pain. The worst thing that can happen to you as a man is you live a life with no pain in it. To be born into a rich family and have a nice, easy life and be given money and you don't have to go to the gym and not have to train because you have bodyguards and sit around like a fuck up. You're going to be miserable and unhappy and a drug addict buying prostitutes. You're only going to have women who adore you. You're only going to feel confident in yourself and feel happy when you've been through hell and come out the other side. The pain is required. And you'll often notice that people who are better than you are people who have suffered more than you have suffered. So the person who is waiting for you, he requires your motivation. It also requires huge amounts of pain. So when bad things happen to you, do not sit at home and lament. Do not feel sorry for yourself. Instead, look in the mirror and say, thank you, God, for giving me one of the ingredients that is needed for the chemical concoction that is going to turn me into a superhero. Because pain is an extremely important one. In fact, it's one of the most important ones for a man. Everything is war. All of it. Sitting in the commute without losing your patience is war. Trying to find a way to escape your slave job is war. Keeping your wife happy and your children inspired is war. Training to become stronger than before is war. It is all war, and it cannot be avoided. And I'll tell you why it's war, because war is 2 opposing sides trying to achieve the same goal. Two opposing sides want the same land or the same influence over X land. And the car you want, the Ferrari, you're not the only person who wants it. The reason it's so expensive is because others people want it. The girl you want, the beautiful woman, everyone wants her. It is war. It is competition. Everything about life as a man is war. It is conflict because you are competing against the other men who want it the same, which is why discipline is such an important thing, which is why you must take the pain and add it to the concoction to become as formidable as possible. Life is war. This idea that you can go through life as a man and avoid war is probably the biggest mistake that most men make, because it is impossible for you to achieve anything significant without war. Running a business is war. Running a hotel, running a restaurant, running an online company, it's war. Training is war. Life as a man is war. You need to wake up and view it exactly as what it is. Everything I want, other people want. Everything I desire, other men are trying to get. This is a war and I must outcompete them. That is the best possible mental model you can have. Even in jail, it was a war for who could stay most calm, a war who could control their mind the best, a war for who could suffer the least. That is war. I was surrounded by people who lost their minds and I refused. It was a battle and I was successful. Life in and of itself as a man is a never-ending struggle and a never-ending battle. It is the constant of the human condition. Evolution requires pain. While others complain that they do not feel happy enough, I'm happy I'm struggling. I don't want to be happy. I want to be great. This is the beauty of life as a man. Do you understand? I don't care. I'm happy to be struggling. I wanted to fight. You wanted to win. I wanted to fight. That's the difference. You're concerned with winning. I wanted to just fight. And we're fighting. That is the beauty of life as a man, to be great. If you concern yourself only with being happy, you are once again acting like a female or a child. Happiness is fleeting. It doesn't even matter. If you're concerned only with the hedonism of happiness, you're going to drink alcohol and go to parties and go to festivals and take drugs. I want to be happy. Who cares? I want to be great. I want to be great all of the time. And let me ask you a question as a man at home, genuinely, truthfully. Would you rather be a loser who's always smiling, a happy loser, or would you rather be a stressed winner? Because I'll tell you something about winners. Most of them are stressed.
We are stressed.
We're stressed. Putin is stressed. Genghis Khan was stressed when his messenger turned up after a 4-week ride with updates from the battlefront of Iran. I'm sure he was stressed by what he read. Even if it was very good, even if it all looked fantastic, he started to feel stressed. Okay, well now maybe I need to go to Iran. How long is it going to take me to get there? Maybe we need to send more horses. Maybe we need to colonize Iran. He felt stress because the beauty of life as a man is to be great. So you have to sit here and ask yourself, do you want to be a happy loser that's insignificant? Nobody knows you exist. Women don't respect you. Men don't respect you. Nobody cares if you live or die, but you get to smile all the time. Or do you want to be one of the most important people on the planet with a little bit of stress? I am brilliant because I've decided to be brilliant. And if I have to sacrifice happiness to be brilliant, then that's fine. You know what the great thing about it is? You know it's amazing what God gives, how the whole world becomes full circle? If you stop caring about being happy and you start caring instead about being great, guess what you end up being?
Great.
Along with great.
And you know what? Yeah,
Happy. You end up happy if you forget about happiness and try to become great. You will never be successful if you're concerned about being happy, so forget about it. I like to consider myself a wise old man, and I'm trying my best to encourage and instigate a revolution amongst the youth where men take absolute self-accountability and they believe in themselves and they take responsibility for absolutely everything. As a man, you are most formidable if everything is your fault. If it rains outside and you get wet, that is still your fault. Can you control the rain? No. Could you have brought an umbrella? Yes. You need to blame yourself for all things, the good and the bad. And by doing this, you take absolute self-accountability, which allows you to build a mental model in which you will find solutions, 1. 2, avoid trouble because you know that anything bad happens to you is your fault. And 3, be the most fearsome competitor possible because we're living in a very competitive world nowadays amongst the elites. The people who understand that you're living inside of a fish tank are trying very hard to get out. And you have to make sure that you can outrun some of them if you want to escape. It's an age-old adage. If a bear is chasing a group of people, you do not have to be the fastest one. You just have to be faster than the slowest. The slowest person is going to die. So as long as you're ahead of the majority of people, you stand a very good chance of avoiding slavery. Being a powerful man isn't always about furious anger and instilling fear. As enemies attempt to attack your energy and lower your vibration, understand this: power is untouchable. Power may notice, but it doesn't care. Sometimes power is simply not giving a fuck. Being a powerful man isn't always about furious anger and instilling fear, meaning sometimes it is. You need to retain the capability to instill fear with furious anger. A man who cannot do that is not a man. It is one of the cards you need to have in your deck. However, more often than not, when in your true position of power, you will play the alternate card, which I'm describing here, as simply not caring. How can you not give a fuck about things? Well, I'll tell you how. If you're filthy rich and you have a strong network of people around you who you trust, and you have a good family, and you have beautiful children, you have women who love you, and you have beautiful supercars, you live with your best friends in a compound, you have armed guards, and you're proud of yourself, and you're strong, and you train hard every day, and you're monumentally successful, and all of your dreams come true, and if you want something, you can instantly snap it up. You want a Pagani, you want a Bugatti, you want a $25 million apartment, anything you want, you buy. It's very easy to not give a shit about the opinions of people who don't have one fraction of your success. And what these people are trying to do is drag me, I'm using me as an example, but we can also use it for you. When you have true power, they're trying to drag you down. They're not trying to elevate themselves. They're trying to drag you down, which is a very different thing, because it's amazing how God rewards those who are trying to build and create and elevate, and how it punishes those who are simply trying to destroy and be spiteful and negative. And these people are going to dedicate hours and hours and millions of hours of their life towards a certain cause.
Thank you.
To try and drag people down who they cannot affect because they're already too powerful and too large. And they're wasting their own human experience, and they're not progressing or advancing themselves in any way. They will stay brokies, and we will stay rich forever. So the lesson here is that you need to get to a position where ignoring people is a move in which you're guaranteed success. You can ignore people completely, and they are benefiting you. And that comes from a position of power. And I think a lot of you at home right now, you may not be in our position, but if you're already working hard, you're already going to the gym, you're already training, you make sure that you're getting as much muscles as possible, as much money as possible, you're dedicated, you don't sleep in, you don't waste your time, you don't smoke weed, you don't play video games, you're focused on trying to become fantastic as a person, you can just ignore that girl. That girl who broke your heart or cheated on you, just ignore her. The most powerful move you can make is ignore her. Yeah, you could yell at her. Yeah, you could try and make her scared of you, blah, blah, right? That's not going to work. The powerful move is just to completely ignore her because you're on your ascent. She is likely on her descent. She likely has no intention of improving herself, no intention of becoming richer, no intention of becoming better looking. Time is against her. As she gets older, she's going to lose her looks. You're going to continue your ascent, and she's going to have to watch you for the rest of her life be the man that she could have been with that she's no longer good enough for. The best thing you can do is simply ignore. That is the powerful move. And it's the same with also men. It's not even a gendered argument. There's men who want to be your friends right now, who wanted to be your friend, and they did something wrong to you. And if you're on the right path doing the right things, karma, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to teach them a lesson for simply failing to be a good person to you while they had the chance. But when you have a whole bunch of money, you take care of the people you love. And that's the masculine prerogative. And even my brother and I, anyone who's been loyal to us, who's on our team, we monumentally reward. And everyone who ever displayed cowardice or sold us out or made mistakes massively regrets it because they see how well we treat the people who are close to us. If you lack somewhere, excel somewhere else. Counter your weaknesses by honing other capabilities. If you're ugly, become filthy rich. If you're poor, be as strong as an ox. Life is unfair. The primary focus of your energies is to balance the books.
And there's two different ways you could interpret that. You can, obviously, increase the attributes that you are lacking. If you have the ability to train, because a lot of people don't. Some people are born without arms and legs, but you, with 2 arms and 2 legs, are sitting at home jerking off to Pornhub, flabby and fat. If you have the ability to train, you should be doing it. But also, there are some things that some people are just better at, and you can counteract that problem by teaming up with people who compensate for your weaknesses. People who are strong in areas where you are weak, and you team up with people where you are strong in areas where they are weak. I don't think between the people in this house and our group of friends, we lack anything.
Correct.
Anything. Correct. Literally anything. We can sit as a group and have a conversation about anything with anyone in the world and give useful insight and change people's lives for the better, because although I am not perfect, our team compensates one for each other.
And that's the point of brotherhood. So excel in one area if you lack in others. I have people say to me, Andrew, I'm short. What do I do? I'm short. Okay, God made you short. Fine. Good. Doesn't matter. You can't change it. What you can do is become as strong as an ox and become filthy rich and monumentally important and extremely influential. You can do that. People say, I'm poor. You should be strong. Oh, I'm strong, but I don't have any money. Okay, then teach others to be strong.
Yes.
There's always a way you can take your advantages and use them. And by teaming up with other men, other people, you can build a team in which there are no weaknesses. So if you have a disadvantage, you also have somewhere God has given you a distinct advantage over others. And it is your duty to excel in that realm. It is your duty to become so monumentally influential and powerful within that specific criteria in which you have the capability to be brilliant, that your weaknesses no longer appear because they can be simply overshadowed by your network or overshadowed by your absolute competence. By constructing the correct mindset, you can be in the exact same scenario you're currently in, living the exact same life with a different mental model in which you view the world, and you will not only feel more powerful, you will be more powerful, you'll achieve more amazing things, you will be greater, you will be happier with the same car, the same woman, the same house, the same income, the same everything, but your mind changes the lens in which you view the world. Lenses change things. Rose tinted glasses, perhaps dark glasses. You can put glasses on, change the lens, and you can view the world differently by changing how your mind is constructed and put together and the way you view the world. That is the point of mental Aikido.
One of the only things in this world you can control is your state of mind. You can't control the weather, you can't control other people, you can't even control your health. You might get a brain hemorrhage, you might get hit by a bus. One of the very few things in the world you have genuine control over is your state of mind. You decide if you're a disciplined person, you decide if you're a happy person, you decide if you're a depressed person. These are things that in real time you can affect in your brain. This is all you can control on Earth. If you can't control that, then you're just a feather in the wind. And life's gonna blow you around, and you might land somewhere good, you might land in dog shit, nobody knows. Your state of mind is what you should be able to control. If you can't wake up and say, today I'm making some money, and actually try your very, very best, and actually stay dedicated to that task, if you can't do that, you're fucked.
The human mind is a massively misunderstood and underused chemical factory. That's all it is. It's the reason you feel happy. It's the reason you feel sad. It's the reason you feel excited. It's only chemicals in your brain. And I think if you try and take conscious control of your mind and force yourself to feel what you want, when you want, you can truly start to feel emotions on command. I don't think that men should ever consider how happy they are. I think that for a man, the paradigm of analyzing yourself based on your mood is an incorrect way to approach life. I don't think it makes you competitive. I just don't think it makes you competitive. I feel like as a man, life is ultra competitive and you're constantly competing against other men, whether you realize it or not. The girl you want, other men want. If you get her, it's a competition. The dollar you want, other men want. If you get it, it's a competition. The status you want, other men want. If you get it, you won the competition. Man, life as a man is hyper competitive, and you need to build a mindset that allows you to compete at the highest echelons, at the highest levels. And in my experience, people who compete at the highest levels are not people who have any concern or care for how they feel on the day. You are a man with duties, you're a man with responsibilities, you must perform, you have things you must do, and you must do them regardless of how you feel. Whether you feel happy or you feel sad, you must still train. So considering it's not going to affect your actions, why even take it into consideration at all? Why does it matter? I don't look at myself and go, how do I be happy? I look at myself and go, how do I succeed and do everything I want to do and become competent and be successful? That's what I'm worried about, achieving my goals daily. Happiness is a byproduct. It's a side piece. But if you're going to wake up and go, I want to be happy, well, yeah, to a degree it's feminine. It's also very childish because only women and children are so obsessed with happiness. But it doesn't make you competitive. Because if you're concerned with being happy, that means you're only going to perform when you feel like it. That means you can't outcompete the men who perform every day regardless. And that's why, as a man, you need to be building a mindset that makes you as competitive as possible. And I think that considering happiness as a concept, as an idea in and of itself is a bad idea. It doesn't even cross my mind if I'm happy. It doesn't even cross my mind. I've got shit to do. Every man understands you shouldn't be complaining about things you cannot change. You have to play the cards you're dealt. To be born a certain height and then to sit there and go, what do I do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You become the best version of yourself, just like everyone else does. Nothing about the height is in and of itself enough value for me to be a valuable man. As a man, you build your value. You are born with the cards you're dealt. Sure, it'd be ideal. Look, I'd love to be 7 foot tall. I'm not. So it's the same argument. If you're 5'2", you need to become rich, strong, and funny, and charismatic, and interesting, and witty. If you're 6'4", you need to become rich, strong, well-connected. It's the same game. So to sit there and complain about it is asinine. People email me their long lists of all the bad things that happened to them, and I reply, fantastic. You are so lucky. You have all the building blocks to become the exact kind of man you want to be. If none of this shit happened to you, when something else bad happens to you later, you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Fantastic. Bad things happened to Batman. They killed his parents. Do you understand? That's why he's Batman. You've just told me you have the building blocks. You might become top G when I retire. What are you complaining about? He goes, well, what do I do? I said, you need to work. Take all that trauma. If you're truly heartbroken, my friend, and we've all been there as men, if you're truly heartbroken, you can't sleep. That means you're going to get in fantastic shape. You better hit the gym. You have nothing else to do. Stop watching YouTube. Stop emailing me. I want pictures of you in the gym. Get to fucking work. Heartbreak's a fantastic motivator, as is depression, as is sadness. Great. Look at what's pissing you off and make sure it never happens again. If you were jacked and rich as fuck, you probably wouldn't have left your ass. All of you have a handful of blessings. I don't think you understand that. You could have been in a car crash at 4 years old and lost your legs. Do you have any understanding of how lucky you have been? This is pure luck. There's only luck has kept you fully able-bodied, sitting there, capable of learning and listening and becoming something. You don't really need to be that tall if you're important and rich, and when you walk in the room, you think when fucking Mayweather walks in the room, people give a shit? Fix that frame in your mind. You are viewing yourself as a short man. Stop it. Walk the fuck up and be the man. I was a 4-time kickboxing world champion. For 12 years, I trained 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I was motivated to train probably about 25% of the time. The rest of the time, I went because I am disciplined. You don't feel like going through that shit on a Wednesday morning when you wake up, but you have to do it because you're disciplined. You're either a disciplined individual or you are not a disciplined individual. There's a difference between want and want. And I say this all the time. People say to me, I want to be rich. And I say, okay, well, I want to be able to ice skate. But I don't want to be able to ice skate enough to go learn how to ice skate because I can't be bothered. I mean, surely if I could click my fingers and be a figure skater, I'd click my fingers. Who wouldn't? But I don't want to actually go train because I don't want it enough. And this is the exact point with money. Everyone wants money put on their lap. If you truly wanted money, you wouldn't be able to sleep until you fucking had it. And this is the point. Because when I had nothing, I couldn't be distracted. You couldn't distract me from what I wanted. That's who I am. If I want something, I'm going to get it. I do not need to be motivated. I'm a disciplined person. If I allocate X amount of time to work, I'm going to do it. But that is the bottom line answer. It's discipline. You're going to have to work when you don't feel like working. That's how it's going to have to be, or you're never going to be eating. The idea that men don't feel emotions is incorrect. We feel emotions. I would actually argue we feel emotions with certain emotions stronger than women. I would argue that we feel heartbreak stronger than women. I would argue we feel anger like a woman could never understand. I would argue we are extremely emotional. Rage, pure rage. Well, it's feedback. So when you get the feedback, it's all about how you internalize it and how you process it, right? It's having, stoicism's not feeling emotions. It's feeling the emotion and going, okay, why is this happening? How much does this really matter? What's the most intelligent move on the chessboard? Chess is a fantastic game because in the game of chess, there's no luck. If you lose, no matter how well you played, if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. Even if it's the most minor mistake, you made a mistake. So you learn to understand that no matter what happens to you, if you lose a scenario, you made a mistake. Maybe it's a tiny one, maybe it was 2 years ago, whatever, but you made a mistake and you learn absolute and utter accountability for yourself. And that mentality is extremely powerful to apply to all things in life. The position I'm in now as the most hated man in the world, although I agree and I truly believe it's unfair, I still take complete responsibility for. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm telling you why it happened when I talk about TikTok and YouTube shorts, but I'm not going to blame them. Absolutely, they're a company making money and they're monetizing the best they can. Fantastic. All of this is my fault. But the Bugatti on my drive is my fault. And the yacht is my fault. The private jet's my fault. So it's all my fault. So I take the good with the bad. I take all responsibility for absolutely everything. including if a woman leaves me, if a woman stays, if I end up heartbroken, if I end up filled with rage. I take responsibility for that. If something happens to me that makes me enraged, I will take responsibility. Why has this happened to me? Why do I feel this way? How did I end up in this position?
Consuming content in a whole is kind of part of it. You have to be very careful and curate the things you listen to. Like, obviously this podcast has value and the people listening are doing the right thing, but there's a whole bunch of kids who are just consuming constant shit. Like we talk about Twitch and the garbage. It's difficult out there for young people. I think it's extremely distracting world. We have the biggest companies in the world with the most advanced AI and tech in the world, designed to keep you distracted and addicted to screens, watching shit that is no good for you. So it's hard, and yeah, the kids are glued to social media and glued to their screens and obsessed with all this crap, and of course they are. It's designed to be obsessive, and they have to make sure they're taking it in a way that's good for them. Inside of my school, the real world, we actually have an entire course on regaining attention and focus, because we notice that anyone below the age 25 can't focus on anything. If you were to say, here's how you make money, go, they'd try, but after 10 minutes, because it's not flashing colors and dopamine, they can't do it. They can't read anything. They can't focus on anything. They're just addicted to TikTok screens. Just new video, new video, new video, new video. So like, people have lost their minds in real time. They've lost their ability to focus on anything. So we actually have to teach that again to the younger people. It's truly crazy. It's absolutely insane.
I've had scenarios in my life where I was prepared to die to protect somebody else, and I was enraged, and it was healthy. I've also had times where I'm in a room by myself, enraged, sitting there going, this is no good for anybody. I need to just calm the fuck down. So emotions are feedback, but stoicism is the ability to process it. And that's what you need to learn as a man. You're never going to be able to turn them off. You're going to feel them. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy. It's unlimited energy. I say this all the time. I say that the biggest periods of transformation in my life is when everything was going wrong. When my life was going good, I'm not a hedonistic person. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't do prostitutes. I don't do anything that hedonistic. But I'll certainly go on the yacht with a bunch of women I know and chill and have some vodkas and that kind of thing. When life's smooth, then it's semi-hedonistic, pretty relaxed. But when I make my biggest progress, when I really change who I am and change the world, that's when everything's fucked. When things go wrong, or I'm feeling things I don't want to feel, or bad things are happening, that's when I'm like, okay, I currently cannot sleep. I've completed the day's tasks. I've tried to go to bed. I can't sleep. More shit has to be done. That's when the amazing things happen in my life. When I was heartbroken, when I was whatever, everyone's been heartbroken. I can't remember a specific example. I hit the gym harder, right? If something goes wrong with your payment processor, that's when you get fucking inventive. That's business, right? That's when you get inventive. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy. Heartbreak is unlimited energy. So is depression. So is rage. So is sadness. All these negative emotions they tell you to collapse behind. It's like, people talk like, Bruce Lee says, be like water. And people see that as be fluid and just go with the flow. I disagree. If you're like water, you're necessary for life. You are scary when you're enraged. You're powerful. You're beautiful when you're calm. You're so many things when you're like water, right? So if I'm enraged, it's like water behind a dam. You just got to put the dam in place, and you got to get the turbo, the hydroelectrics put in. Don't tsunami your life. Put the energy somewhere.
Let's say your son comes to you. He's 14. He says, Dad, what's the best piece of advice you can give me right now?
I feel like you should just always act like you're being watched by people you really respect and love. And it doesn't matter if it's in the gym, they're watching you to see how hard you train, or in that job interview, they're watching you to see how you perform, see how confident you can be, watch you put your suit on, make sure your tie's straight. I feel like you need to have a sense of duty to people who existed before you or who have given up their lives so you exist. And you need to try very hard to make sure your last name means something important. So the best advice I can give is just keep in mind there's a whole bunch of people who love you, who are looking out for you, who really care about you, and who have done a lot for you to exist as a person. And you owe them a lot of things, and you owe them your absolute best in all realms. You owe them to try your hardest and to not disappoint them. And you don't get the luxury of just existing and sitting around playing video games and being happy, being sad, eating food, whatever. All that's by the by. You have a big debt to pay to your family, to your ancestors, to God, and you have to try very hard. And keep that in mind and let that motivate you to be your best self.
I can't imagine truly wanting to quit something and not being able to quit. Like, I could quit cigars today. Like, it wouldn't even plague my mind. Like, if I wanted to quit, I'd quit. I can't imagine a mind frame or a mindset where I want to do something and can't do it. Life is hierarchical. There's always going to be kings and there's always going to be peasants. If you have a mind that you can't control, then you're never going to be a king. You're going to be a peasant. That's your life. You have a peasant's life ahead of you, and that's your destiny. Enjoy, right? There's always been peasants. That's life. But I believe that the most important thing you can do as a man is to gain control of your mind. Once you have control of your mind, life is so ridiculously easy. It's so ridiculously easy. It's so easy to be in. People say to me, Tate, you're in good shape, but all you do is drink vodka and travel the world. You're never even home. You never even have a gym. How do you do it? It's ridiculously easy if you control your mind. If I decide to do 1,000 push-ups, I'll do them. Maybe I have to do them one at a time. Maybe I'll get tired. Maybe I need a break. I'm going to do 1,000 because I said I'm going to do 1,000. It's not fucking hard. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Once you control your mind, it's easy, right? Getting over a breakup with that bitch. You miss that girl, you're upset, you miss her with all your heart, da-da-da. But once you realize she's gone, if you control your mind, she's gone now. She's gone now, gonna miss her. That's a shame. Off to the gym. You either control your mind or you don't. And all of these things stem from the same problem. It's something you can do. It's something that is learned. It's something that is taught. But it's something that I needed to survive. So for me, it's easy, right? It's all I've ever known. Right. But people have life now. They don't need it to survive, so they never develop the skill. That's just how it works. At the end of World War II, when men went to Europe and saw unspeakable horrors at the end of World War II, did they all come home and need therapy, or did they all come home and get back to life?
Get back to life.
Because everyone was taught to have a mind that they control because they needed it to survive. There's no one else. That's how life worked back then. Now imagine there was a war that big. Imagine the fucking therapy, the fallout, the fucking bullshit. No one would be able to fucking even just go back in. And I'm not saying they didn't see bad things. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's fucking horrible. But that's how it works. That's life. Like, I've seen shit. Like, we've all had our trauma. You have to get through it. You either let it destroy you or let it build you.
Have you ever been in love before?
Completely. I believe in love. I believe in love. I believe in men and women being in love. I believe in finding a woman and loving her with all my heart. I'm not going to let her fucking take the piss out of me. I'm not going to let her walk over my standards or my boundaries. I'm a man. I love you with all my heart. And I said, you're not going to the club with your girls. I want to go. Cool. Then we're over. And I will love you while I don't see you. I might still love you a little while, but fuck you. That's the line. You overstepped the line. Goodbye. That's life. I can love a bitch and ignore her texts. Watch me. I can be head over heels in love and still ignore her ass for breaking my rules. Because I set the rules because I'm a man. It's my world. You step into my world. I don't step into your world. You step into my world. You're never going to win 100% of the time. You might love a bitch and lose her. Cool, but you might love a bitch and keep her. If I let her go to the club with her girls all the time, how long is it until she meets a new dude and cheats on me anyway? Sooner or later. You're going to lose her anyway, so why not lose her as a man sticking to your fucking guns instead of losing her 7 months later behind your back? Stick up for your fucking self. But this is it. But people are so scared of the emotions. That's all it is. No one's going to shoot them in the head. They're scared of the emotions of missing her. You're a full-grown man. You're scared of some emotions. Sit in bed and be sad and fucking play your chess and go to the gym and be sad and lift your weights and be sad for a while and do your shit till you're not sad anymore. The fuck? You're scared of emotions to the point you let a bitch run your fucking life? It's insane. And this is the world we're in today.
So how do you find happiness? Happiness is in struggle. The struggle and the size of the struggle you're facing, along with how important it is and how important you feel it is deep in your heart, is directly correlated to how successful and how happy you're going to feel all of the time. Struggle is extremely important for a man, and you should be looking to inject struggle into your life permanently. We talked about this in the past emergency meeting, because if you're injecting struggle and that struggle solving those problems lead to a positive place, once you become addicted to it, you're going to become a machine of monumental achievement. There are some very simple, basic things you can do. Weight training, chess, having debates, trying your very best to take care of your mother, retire her, make sure that your people who you love are taken care of. You need goals and resistance and something to fight against to live well. Because the distance between pain and joy is what we experience. If you only have joy all of the time and no pain, you are not going to be happy. You don't need drugs. You don't need alcohol. You don't need parties or festivals. You don't need fun. Fun is the vector from which Satan operates. Every time you look at something which is fun, it's all just hedonistic. There's no money to be made. You don't retire your mother. You don't help the world. You don't give to charity. You don't become stronger. You don't become wiser. You don't learn anything. Next time you think of what is fun and someone goes, guys, come, it'll be fun. Sit there and go, wait. Will it? Experiences are unique. Jail was a unique experience. Bunch of fun. Unique. Life's not about fun as a man. Life is about doing the right thing because it must be done. Now, there are some things that are fun which can be earned. And there are some things which are fun that you could do, which perhaps involve skill. Driving a supercar around a racetrack is fun. It involves skill. You have to be good at what you do. Cool. But a lot of this fun that is easily accessible to everyone, because not everybody can get a Ferrari on a closed racetrack. I can. You can't because you're poor. You do not need fun until you've already reached the highest possible echelon. So this whole idea that you need fun in your life, you don't. What you need is purpose. You need discipline. You need hard work. You need things to do which are going to benefit you and the others around you. You need duty. You need obligations. And you need performance metrics. You need people around you who are going to hold you accountable. You don't need to be waking up thinking about fun. You're nobodies. You're not important. Nobody knows who you are. You're not physically strong. You're not financially wealthy. You have bigger concerns. You're obsessed with this idea of fun. Hey, what are we going to do this weekend? We need to have some fun. Do you? Do you need fun? Do you deserve it? Really? Have you actually gone out there in the universe and made a mark large enough that you're allowed some time off to have some fun? You don't deserve any fun. You don't need any fun. You have work to do. Your obsession with fun is holding you back. These things you think are fun aren't fun.
Checking your bank balance in your house, not going out, you're not in a club, and seeing $20 million liquid is very fun.
That's right.
Much more fun than anything you could possibly ever do. So, although it wasn't fun to sit around and accumulate that kind of wealth, it's the funnest thing in the universe, in a way.
For a man, your contentment will come from your purpose, and it will come from your competence, and it will come from succeeding objectives. It will come from completing difficult things that other people cannot complete. It will never come from the easily accessible hedonism, which you have confused for fun. If everybody can do it, you shouldn't want to do it. If everybody can go to that concert, you shouldn't want to go. If everybody can go to that club, you shouldn't want to go. You should only want to do things others can't do. The only fun I have is doing things I know you're not allowed to do. Putting my Bugatti on an A380 and flying it around the world to a racetrack, which I've rented out for only me and only my friends to race around cars. You can't do that. I can. That is fun. But if you say to me, Andrew, come to this party, and I say, well, who's there? Everyone. Oh, everyone's there. Does that mean I need to go? Right? It's the event of the century. Ooh, everyone's there. If everyone's there, it's trash. So you need to sit there and go, all right, I'm being asked to do something fun. Who else can do this? And if the answer is everybody, stop. I clear my emails. I've trained hard that day. I've made a couple $1 million. I've spec'd a brand new car. I've checked on all the people I love, all the people I care about. I've donated some money to charity. My children are fed. Their mothers are taken care of. Everything is in order. Everything is in its proper place. That is fun. If you say to me, Andrew, skip a portion of that organization and professionalism so that we can go and do something that everyone else can do, my answer will be no. That does not sound fun to me. And the fact that you think that's fun shows that you have a severe mental deficiency. Okay. Stay away from it. You're only going to find actual fun through purpose. And you're only going to find purpose through exceptionalism. So you need to become the best possible version of yourself in all realms. That's extremely important. The reason you are so unhappy is because you are trying to have fun. You're unhappy because you're trying to have fun instead of trying to become important. They are very different things, and you're never going to feel satisfied in your heart unless you become important. Please imagine.
And being important is fun.
Oh, it's absolutely fun. Please imagine, and I don't state this with arrogance, please imagine for a second you're the most Googled man on the planet. And you're a kickboxing world champion, and you have hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're built like a tank. Imagine how you feel when you look in the mirror. Nothing can match that, and nothing can beat that. As a man, you need to have struggle in your life. I want you guys to actually sit and think, what struggle are you going through daily? What struggle are you undertaking? What struggle are you trying to overcome? Because you should make a list of them. I can know for myself, every single day I wake up and I train physically. Every single day I have to go through X amount of physical pain when my day begins. That is a struggle that must be completed. Then I must try and keep my massive empire online, see my children, take care of everybody. There's struggle involved. My life is difficult. Difficult lives are fulfilling because we used to have to hunt and fish and go out there and go through difficulty to survive. And I often see that when I speak to people who are too comfortable, they end up being unhappy.
Yeah.
You can't entertain yourself to happiness. You must earn happiness. You must climb a mountain. You must struggle yourself to happiness. That's extremely important. There must be physical, mental, social, creative, some kind of spiritual struggle. And those things being satisfied is what's going to satisfy you. It's like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a mathematical equation. You solve the equation, you get a Bitcoin. Life is very much the same. There's struggles, there's difficulties which you have undertaken, which you have adopted to try and complete. And when you finish those things, then you get satisfaction as a reward. That's the Bitcoin. The only other alternative to that to feel good is hedonism, which is drugs and alcohol. And that's not going to satisfy you for very long. And it's also going to destroy your life. So it's extremely important. This is actually why people are addicted to video games. Young men are addicted to video games because it mimics virtually what they ought to be doing in the real world.
Yeah.
Effort in to upgrade their character to become a better version of themselves so they can do better things than they could previously do and explore new areas of the map. The areas of the map which are Bugatti convention, flying there on a private jet to sit with billionaires.
The Grand Casino Monaco is a cool area of the map that you have not unlocked yet, but it's great.
Which requires you to upgrade your character as a person. You understand this in video games, and you do it in video games because it's very interesting to do. However, you don't want to do it in the real world. But in the real world, it's so much more rewarding. And I actually going to argue that we're living in one of the final periods where that's true. I'd say in a few generations, who you are and who your physical body is may not matter nearly as much.
No, but it does matter today. A lot.
Exactly. So that's why you should enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
So you need to pick the low-hanging fruit first. And the starting block to all of these things is your body. I believe if you lift, stretch, move, improve your body, try and train MMA, learn how to fight, get stronger, get bigger muscles, it's a fast track to self-discipline, which will carry over into all other endeavors. And I would argue that is nearly impossible. In fact, how many people can say the gym saved their life? How many people do you know were depressed, started training, got in fantastic shape, and weren't depressed anymore? It is very easy. The low-hanging fruit is your body and upgrading your body. That is the easiest struggle, which is never going to backfire on you and never going to be a negative towards any other facet of your life. And when I look at men who are physical specimens, I think everyone naturally does this, but I'm going to openly say it. I respect them differently than I look at men who aren't. I have a different level of respect for them because they show me they have discipline. They show me they have motivation. They show me they're capable of doing difficult and hard things. Those are the kind of people I trust. They're not afraid of struggle. They're problem solvers. People who train are problem solvers, and you need to become one, and you need to become very, very adept at solving problems pretty quickly. I actually find it amazing that there's people out there who aren't in perfect physical condition. Guys, let me tell you all a news flash. If you eat right and you train hard, you look good.
Yeah.
It's like a biological certainty. It's almost impossible to be fat and look bad if you eat right and train hard. Your body will react and give you exactly what you want. So why don't you all look like superheroes? Do you not understand how intimidating that is just when they look at a group of people and they all look like superheroes and they can tell they're all disciplined, all hardworking, all dedicated, all physically strong? The struggle is what's beautiful about it. That's the most important thing. That's what you have to understand.
Yeah, because no matter how rich you are, no matter how smart you are, no matter what family you're born into, you can only get into shape the same way as everybody else. So you could be Mark Zuckerberg, who's now in shape and he's a billionaire, but you can't say, oh, he bought it. He didn't buy it. He's just in great shape because he earned it like everyone else. You could be flat broke or rich as fuck. If you're in good shape, you had to earn it. It's as simple as that. So yeah, it says a lot about who you are as a person.
First, you want to become as strong as physically possible. So you want to be as strong as physically possible. Next, you want to try and make as much money as possible. Not even necessarily for the money, although money is extremely important because it allows you to take care of yourself. We talked about this before, but there's a challenge involved, and solving that challenge is going to make you feel more satisfied as a human. Happiness comes from success, and making money is success. You should try and make people around you smile and be happy. You should try and encourage positivity around you. You should be the kind of person that no one can really complain about their struggles around because they know that you're the person who's going to be like, why are you complaining when you could just simply fix it? Especially successful people. Successful people are uninterested in stealing because we'd rather everybody win and keep the friendship and keep the network and keep the positive organs and keep the good karma than make a little bit extra money. So it's amazing what you see in the world. And if you become a person who is happy and successful and can take care of himself and adopt struggles, you're going to start finding those other people who do the same thing, and then you're going to build a network and become fantastic. Live with men you're in competition with. So you and your friends need to have friendly competition at all times. Now, you need to meet your friends, and you need to have banter and competition around things that matter. Who's got the most money? Who's worked hardest? Who's discovered XYZ, crypto, stock, new way of generating income? Who's trained that day? Who has the most children? Put some actual competitions together that matter and start competing and being around people, because you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Everybody knows this. So why don't you get some genuine metrics that will improve your life? You won't have time to stand around cooking meals if you're friends with somebody who works out for 3 hours a day, for example, because you're going to need to find 3 hours a day to train to beat him, which means you're going to have to just eat that rotisserie chicken as you do squats like a man should. Live with men you're in competition with. This is ultra important because you can measure yourself against your circle. If Tristan comes downstairs and says, I've done 1,000 push-ups, I will do anything it takes to do 1,001 just to annoy him because I know that he then has to do 1,002. And pissing him off is worth it. It's always worth it. And that's why you need to have that kind of competition. Get your act together, get some genuine metrics, things that matter. And once they're all put together, you're going to live in a naturally competitive environment, which is going to increase your testosterone level. It's going to prevent you from doing a lot of dumb shit. And the competition one's great, because you can apply it to everything.
There, a lot of people are going to get, kicked in the nuts and take a fall, and they're going to let it beat them down. Andrew's lost very important kickboxing matches. Did he quit fighting then? Did I quit fighting when I got my ass kicked a couple times? No, you don't. You just have to continue because in life, there are only winners and losers. There are no participation trophies. There's no, stickers and everyone's invited to have a good time. Life is hard and everyone in life is actually trying to play the same game. If you're a sportsman, there's a small pool of people who compete at kickboxing, professional soccer, and the bigger the pool is, the more difficult it is. Well, life is the only game where every single one of us 8.1 billion people is trying to play the exact same game. And the same game is, there's only so much money in the world, there's only so many resources, there's only so much happiness. I'm going to try to provide for my family as best as I can. And whether people say money's not important or is important, everyone's part of this game. So winning is very difficult. And you have to keep trying when you get kicked and you fall down. And that's the advice I give to every young man who listens to me.
People are afraid of accepting there's a problem because then they know they have a responsibility towards fixing it. Yeah. And they don't want to do anything, one, because they're lazy, and two, because they're afraid they might lose. So they'd rather pretend there's no problem at all. And I think I often say to people in a lot of my videos about a lot of other subjects that it's not always the winning and the losing. It's the fighting in the first place. And there's plenty of men in history you remember who ended up losing in the end. Napoleon, for example, who still fought, which is why they mattered. It's not, if you're only going to fight when you're guaranteed to win, then no bravery is required. And you have to fight so that you can look back on your life and feel happy that you tried to do something when you knew it was going on before it was too late. Forget about the winning and losing for now. Focus on the fight. You must wait for the moment when the opponent's mind is scattered and strike without hesitation. If you do not overcome your tendency to give up so easily, your life will lead to nothing. Objectify your demons so you control them instead of them controlling you. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, especially your impulses, or else you're going to lose yourself. You will only be found by the devil once you are lost, and he will lead you to hell. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by men who kept fighting when there seemed to be no hope at all. I think it's a good motto, perhaps, for life, for everyone who's watching this. I heard it during a boxing match, and I think it was between Evander Holyfield against some guy who's not nearly as well known. And Holyfield was losing, and then he starts swinging, hitting the guy. And the commentator said, "Suddenly the champion returns with initiative and vengeance." That's a good slogan for life. You should wake up, look in the mirror, and say, "Suddenly the champion returns with initiative and vengeance." That's a good way to start your day every single day.
Yeah, it is.
Initiative and vengeance to become the best possible version of yourself.